relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support. The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Diani Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hello, this is Robert Pilot. For Native relatives, healing is more than just sobriety. It's reclaiming Indigenous masculinity as a sacred, balanced force. Join Hunter Thundercloud for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. We explore how personal recovery uplifts our communities. It's time men step back into roles as mentors and spiritual leaders. Recovery is collective, and it starts with us. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. Let's tend the fire together. The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio, rooted in Lakota aesthetics of geometry, color, and pattern. Diani Whitehawk's abstractions are rich in meaning, honoring generations of Native artists. Explore her wide-ranging practice, including vivid beading paintings, sculptures, and video installations, and Diani Whitehawk's Love Language. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. Plan your visit and get tickets at walkerart.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, freezing fog possible with a low of 24, then Wednesday, sunshine with a high of 38. Heat up these cold nights with the hottest musical acts around at Crooner's Supper Club. Crooner's is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65 and Moore Lake Drive. Visit croonersmn.com to view their schedules and food menus.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway?
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, I just want to say we got a jam-packed show today. We're going to have our friend Hunter come on in just a second here. And later on, we have Dr. Stately, CEO of Native American Community Clinic. And then rounding up the show, Wendy Pilot. So we're really excited to announce, and I'm going to bring Hunter on right now, announce what's going to happen tomorrow. Oh, it looks like beautiful weather there, Hunter. Welcome to Native Roots Radio. Oh,
Hi, how's it going? Yeah, the weather's great.
Going good.
Yeah, it's going good.
Excellent. Hey, really excited. The kickoff tomorrow. Been running ads about what's happening tomorrow, and really excited to partner with you, Hunter, and Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. And I know that may not end up being the name, but we're starting off with that and talk a little bit about what it's going to be about.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good place to start. We're hoping we keep the name. It's going to be about wellness and recovery and Native issues in a lot of different spheres, especially with like drug and alcohol recovery, wellness with the body, spiritual wellness. We want to talk about things that are successful right now, things that we can lean on, bring on people that um, are making the world better for us. Um, so we want it to be a positive show, um, with understanding that there are a lot of issues that are affecting us in a negative way, but there's a way out. I think there's a better way out there that we can create communities around.
Well, and I love, the ad that's been running. We've been talking about reclaiming, our sacred balanced force, and I really appreciate that, and you doing what you're doing down there for Turtle Island, for the whole country and Canada is going to be exciting just to talk about.
It is. I mean, we're putting a lot of work. We have a lot of people that are involved in helping us create our wellness center. I mean, we've had so much support. It's been nonstop with support since we've started. I mean, there's always hard times, um, which even right now because it's a new business, it's a hard time, but it's the value I think is so worth it, and the need is there out there to have a drug and alcohol center that's focused on native culture and like a lens from our view. We don't have to have someone else. We don't have to ask for permission, from administration to do certain things because it's through our eyes.
Absolutely. Hey, it's on the first and third Wednesday every month at 6 p.m. here on AM 950, and then it'll be on all the socials out there too, and we'll be pumping that out and talking about that every day. Really, really excited to partner with you, Hunter, and your group, and I can't wait to see the guests that you come up with.
Yeah, me either. I mean, I we right now we're going to be interviewing Ryan. He's the director of You're No Indian, so he might be one of our first guests. So we're excited about that, which I
Yeah,
think is
absolutely.
an issue that isn't talked about as much as I think it should be. But so yeah, great.
Yeah, well, totally excited and really looking at the background there. I really have big FOMO here. We're in Minnesota here, and it's a gazillion degrees below zero, and it's raining, so that makes
Oh
life
yeah.
really fun here.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's pretty cold here. I think we're at like 45 degrees
Oh,
and sunny.
it looks good though. So I also want you to blast out how people can get a hold of you, get a hold of the wellness center, and
Mhm.
get that up with this quick segment we're doing.
We can be reached on social media for Thundermaker Wellness or thundermaker.com. Um, those are the best places. You know, email us on either social media app. We're on LinkedIn. We're also on Facebook. So we're on most of the social media if you look up Thundermaker Wellness. There is a Thundermaker Cultural Recovery, which is a nonprofit, but the Wellness Center is where you'll be able to reach us for any of the needs when it comes to behavioral health or um,
Oh, we just lost you for a second, but hey, again, join for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire every first and third Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. right after this show. And so we're really excited to partner with Hunter and his group and just get some more voices out there, Native voices, and that's very important. We know we have a lot of allies that listen to this show and are really hungry for what you're going to have to offer, Hunter.
thank you. I mean, I'm really excited. I mean, the more people that know about us, the more we can help, and the more they can help us. I mean, this is a issue that needs a cultural shift. I mean, we need communities involved. You know, it's The only way we're going to heal ourselves is if we can have this cultural shift where we get everyone involved.
Well, thank you for stopping in, and excited for the next great show tomorrow. And I think we'll be recording some more stuff very soon this week. And so I'm excited with this partnership, Hunter, and I'm really excited that you were able to join us real quick. So again, Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire every first and third Wednesday. Every month at 6 p.m. here on AM 950, and you can catch them on all the socials out there. Hunter, great work. Thank you so much. And again, we got like just a little minute left here. Give the information again how people can get a hold of you and come down to looks like a warmer weather and go through treatment and get some wellness.
Yeah, Prescott, Arizona. That's where we are. It's thundermakerwellness.com, or if you look on social media, Thundermaker Wellness, you'll be able to find us. So, and we have a lot of TikTok shows or TikTok videos, so hopefully you've seen us.
Yeah, definitely. And you'll be sharing out the show, and then we definitely have pieces to send to you each day. And I don't know if you've checked out my TikTok, but you and Dr. Stately are neck and neck in the most views and likes on my TikTok.
Nice.
So
Nice.
it's pretty cool. We're gonna have Dr. Stately up next. So Hunter, thank you so much, and we'll be talking to you really soon. Again, tomorrow night, 6 p.m. right off after Native Roots Radio. It'll be Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire with Hunter Thundercloud and his posse. Hoa! And it looks like you froze up again. Cool. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we're really excited to be doing this partnership. And up next, we're going to have our friend Dr. Stately, CEO of Native American Community Clinic, and we got a lot to talk about. This is Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back after the short break. Please stay with us. The Walker Art Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio, rooted in Lakota aesthetics of geometry, color, and pattern. Diani Whitehawk's abstractions are rich in meaning, honoring generations of Native artists. Explore her wide-ranging practice, including vivid beading paintings, sculptures, and video installations, and Diani Whitehawk's love language. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. Plan your visit and get tickets at walkerart.org. Oh, this is Robert Pilot. For Native relatives, healing is more than just sobriety. It's reclaiming Indigenous masculinity as a sacred, balanced force. Join Hunter Thundercloud for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. We explore how personal recovery uplifts our communities. It's time men step back into roles as mentors and spiritual leaders. Recovery is collective, and it starts with us. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. Let's tend the fire together.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
The Walker Art Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio, rooted in Lakota aesthetics of geometry, color, and pattern. Diani Whitehawk's abstractions are rich in meaning, honoring generations of Native artists. Explore her wide-ranging practice, including vivid beading paintings, sculptures, and video installations, and Diani Whitehawk's love language. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. Plan your visit and get tickets at walkerart.org.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and I want to be your next United States Senator, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We have our friend Dr. Stately, Native American Community Clinic President and CEO. We don't like to say the word president. I just messed up there. We're live right now, so I guess I can't do anything. Dr. Stately, welcome as always to Native Roots Radio. Thank you so much for coming on.
Good evening, Bujo. How are you? You don't like to say the word president?
No, I don't know. I think it's one of those weird terms whenever a native leader comes in. We don't like to say president. We'd like rather say CEO or executive director. I don't know.
Oh,
Did I just make that up in a dream, or did somebody tell me that that's not good? Oh, wow.
I don't know. Might have been somebody that told me that. I don't know. Wasn't me. Yeah, no, I know. So I don't actually, we don't use the term CEO anymore either. My title is president and executive officer, but we dropped the word chief from all of our titles at
That
NAT, so we don't have a chief of anybody.
that's
We're all just Indians. We're all just Indians.
Oh my God. Can I start this show over again? That's hilarious.
We did it a few years ago. It was an intentional decision because I can't remember exactly why, but we had a big conversation about it. You know, we decided that chief and officer are kind of like the same thing a little bit. You know, like it's implied leadership position. We were also trying to, I think, work towards sort of having a little bit more of a collaborative and consensus model of leadership where, you know, one of the things I was trying to accomplish there, I've been working on, still working on. We'll do that be working on that for a while, which is just recognizing, you know, I think my own ideas and my own thoughts about leadership from an Indigenous lens is that, you know, certainly we had chiefs, or we had community leaders that we sort of invested in specific leadership responsibilities and those kinds of things. But I think from the perspective that I have about Indigenous leadership is that everybody has a gift and everybody has a talent and everybody has, you know, leadership qualities. And when you come from a community that is comprised of people who have a broad skill set, broad scope of knowledge and wisdom, and a specialty in a specific area, there comes a time when their leadership is required. And so part of my perspective on leadership is that, you know, everybody at some point in time in our community, in our family, in our nations are going to be expected to step forward because they have a thing that needs to be contributed to the betterment of the community. And so leadership is something we all have inside of us. And leadership is something that will be required of all of us at some point in our life.
You know, I just feel like, you know, from where I'm coming from, whether it's working as a high school teacher or just my background in working, I believe and I feel that Native Americans really really are switching the deal here. You know, we talk to Native American Community Development Institute, and they talk about having yourself first. So being indigenous and being in that position is so much different for us to hear and me to understand, and it's just been great to hear.
Well, I mean, I think that I would say that part of my thought process around some of that is like, you know, and I'm certainly doing a lot, you know, I've spent a lot of time in the last year or so, year.
Oops, Dr. Stately froze up there. Hopefully there's no gaming going on there. Hey, there he's back.
Yeah. Trying to like get people off the internet here.
Yes. You know, you were one of the first shows when we went 5 days a week, and we've had so much fun with ice cubes and things like that, and it's just been awesome. So it's always cool. We got dogs barking over here, cats meowing, and
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah, well, that's what Indigenous life is. You got, you know, you got me here, you got my kids over there cooking something for themselves. You got like my dog over there rolling around the floor doing something. I don't know what he's doing. You know,
It's awesome. It's
this is the
awesome,
life. This is the life of a president and an executive officer.
but not chief.
Not chief. Not chief. I'm not chief yet.
No. Oh, ho.
So I was
Well,
like earlier earlier today, I said to my partner, we're just sitting here. It was early in the morning. I just woken up. You know, it wasn't like, you know, it was like 7, maybe 6:45 or something like that. I was waking up, feeding the cats, getting the dogs for the water, you know, starting the coffee and stuff like that. And then we're sitting here and getting ready to go off to this treatment program. And I go, what do you think about me running for governor?
yeah, definitely.
And he was like, oh God, no. He goes, no. I was like laughing. I was laughing, you know, in part because like I think I've told you this before, like people were trying to encourage me to think about moving to, like, you should move back to Minneapolis and run for mayor. I was like, do I really want to do that? That just seems like a thankless job.
Oh God.
I feel like I have the best job on the planet, so I'm gonna stay where I'm at. So
Well, definitely, and you're leaving a great legacy too. Where are we at with your beautiful building? And if people don't know that are just listening, the Native American Community Clinic is getting another 5 stories, brand new, 2 stories with clinic portion, and then some housing on top. Totally
6 stories altogether. So 2 stories of clinic. 2 stories is basically doubling the size of our clinic now. We're at 21,000 square feet, give or take now. We'll be at almost 40,000 in when the building is completed.
a dog like that.
Yeah. Sorry. It just goes off when somebody walks past or drives past. It's annoying. Our security cameras.
Oh,
Because
your
it's
security
because because I'm president. I have to have security. You know, I have to have a compound here.
So it's like the dog saw the camera go off and barked. Is that?
He hears it. So if the car drives by, it makes the ring camera. It's not a ring camera. It's actually part of this the alarm system we have. But like if a car goes by and it catches it, it'll like make a noise, and then he thinks the noise means that somebody's at the front door. So then he barks.
I love dogs.
And the dog barks, and then the kids run over to the camera to look and see who's out there, and they find that there's nobody. It's actually really quite comical. Here comes the third kid looking out the window.
Yeah. Well, I think
I have a bunch of.
There he is, looking out the window.
Yeah, that's my nephew. He just moved here from South Dakota.
Welcome. Well, let's put him to work.
He starts his job tomorrow at the casino. So.
Shakopee?
Yeah. He's at Mystic Lake. He starts tomorrow. So
cool. Yeah, that's one of the cool things we talk about gaming, and I know my tribe in Wisconsin has is probably one of the top 2 or 3 employers in the state. And I know Shakopee employs many people with all their holdings.
Yeah, well, and this has been true for quite a while, even when I worked there. The Shakopee, Mdewakan, and Sioux community is one of the largest employers in Scott County, larger than even the county itself. And I think the only other place that was probably even close to them was Amazon, when Amazon had their distribution center out here, which they sort of I don't think they shuttered it fully. They like downsized and moved their distribution center like into to Egan. But you know, that's they were just talking about this, I think, on I want to say NPR, on an NPR sort of talk show about how the tribe is collectively, all 11 tribes across Minnesota are like the 12th or 14th largest employer in the state of Minnesota.
Wow.
So it contributes significantly to like the the GDP for the state, contribute significantly to like the contribution of taxes and a number of other. So it's like, I think that's one of the biggest sort of misunderstandings and misinterpretations that people have of Native people, which is like this idea that, well, we're all poor. I mean, even my own kids say this. My kids say like stuff like, oh, Natives are all poor. I'm like, you're listening to white people. I'll tell you the narrative about who Native people are. So
Yeah, definitely.
This is what public school will do to like people. It's like dummy them down. At least out in the suburbs, they do that.
Well, tell them I'm so poor I can't pay attention. Oh, hey.
Them too.
Hey, we're with Dr. Stately. We're going to get serious in the next segment here. This is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back with our friend Dr. Stately, CEO and President of Native American Communities. The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Diani Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Oh, this is Robert Pilot. For Native relatives, healing is more than just sobriety. It's reclaiming Indigenous masculinity as a sacred, balanced force. Join Hunter Thundercloud for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. We explore how personal recovery uplifts our communities. It's time men step back into roles as mentors and spiritual leaders. Recovery is collective, and it starts with us. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. Let's tend the fire together. The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio, rooted in Lakota aesthetics of geometry, color, and pattern. Diani Whitehawk's abstractions are rich in meaning, honoring generations of Native artists. Explore her wide-ranging practice, including vivid beading paintings, sculptures, and video installations, and Diani Whitehawk's love language. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. Plan your visit and get tickets at walkerart.org.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been telling you about my friends at Snap Construction, who are arguably the most well-reviewed exterior construction company in the metro. Don't just take my word for it. Take a look at all their reviews online. Winter is the most cost-effective time of the year to complete your construction project. A majority of Minnesotans choose to have their work completed on their home in the summer when they should be enjoying the weather. As a result, the demand for labor in the summer is much higher. The most cost-effective way to improve or restore your home is in the winter due to the lower demand. Right now, Snap Construction is offering an additional 30% off of labor to the AM 950 listeners on your next construction project between now and the end of February. Call 612-333-SNAP and mention AM 950 for an additional 30% off. As always, Snap Construction stands by their work with a lifetime craftsmanship warranty. Don't wait to get a free estimate by calling 612-333-SNAP or find them online at snapconstruction.com. Financing options available.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, freezing fog possible with a low of 24, then Wednesday, sunshine with a high of 38. Heat up these cold nights with the hottest musical acts around at Crooner's Supper Club. Crooners is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65 and Moore Lake Drive. Visit croonersmn.com to view their schedules and food menus.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. I'm Bobby Wilson. Witcha.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanjahade. Hey, welcome, everybody. This is Native Roots Radio, and we're with our friend Dr. Stately. Dr. Stately, a lot of serious stuff going on here, and I'd like to get your input on this. You know, I don't even know where to start, really. I mean, we have the governor who's been attacked federally by the Orange One, and is now not running for his term, but now is ready to fight. So he's not spending time running. He's going to be spending time fighting with the administration. So I guess kudos to him. And it's just the upside down world here.
Well, you know, I just read this opinion piece. I think was talking about how, President Trump and his MAGA conservatives that sort of follow him, and just they're just I don't know where they find the time to do all the stuff they do. There must be it must not work. I wonder if they're on AFDC and Medicaid. Which is what they say about us. But I think one of the things I was just reading this really great piece on was talking a little bit about how, certainly as the leader of the state, he has some responsibility for the amount of fraud that happened, right? There's him and the people that work under his leadership have some responsibility for not managing that differently and not managing carefully. And I think the other part of that is that, and that's different than him specifically as an individual person being a fraudster or a fraudulent person or doing some type of he's not lining his own pockets like some of what Trump's people have done, right? He's are doing. He's not, he's not running around the state renaming things in his name and acting like a dictator and a few other things. So I think part of that is just it's just, I don't know. We live in a society, in a world in which what's more important than the truth and a bunch of other things, and being a dignified human being and being a good relative to people is getting the number of likes you can get on social media, getting people to pay attention to you, and a few other things. And so I think what I thought was interesting in that article was just the amount of effort that the person was able to say in 5 or 6 paragraphs, and just laying out this is not the way in which he's being portrayed and talked about at the national level, and then also locally by ultra conservative Republicans, is just not true and unfair, and just a lot of it's lies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then I read this article about all the Fox 9 did a whole piece on exposing all of the fraud that has happened in the last year or two post pandemic, and there isn't a state that isn't Minnesota is actually significantly lower than other states like California and Arizona and Texas, and a number of other places that have done really mismanaged and done a lot of fraud, had a lot of fraud going on in those areas. And Arizona and Texas are primarily conservative.
It's interesting.
It's just always interesting to see how they paint things when the shoe's on the other foot, right?
Well, the mass media is no longer our friend, which I think we felt that way maybe in the 70s, if you remember, with Vietnam and all those things, and Wounded Knee and all those things. But now they're coming to truth and fruition. Even the Star Tribune has been attacking him, and so it's just crazy. I've been following on social media. I've been following what is his name? Gavin Newsom's page, and he is on it, and he is totally on it. And and again, today's January 6th, so there's a celebration there. I mean, there was a memorial for the officers that were attacked, but nobody can find where that is now. They took it down, and if you ever wondered what the United States would be like without a functioning Congress or Supreme Court, we do know that now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I think the thing is that, I don't know if did you see, so I think, so I'm friends with Marlena Miles. I like her. She's a really amazing artist, and a good human being for the most part. She's, her and I always have some really great conversations, and she makes me chuckle and laugh with a lot of her posts that she puts up. But one of the most recent posts she put up was talking about how, tribal people are sovereign, and so because we're sovereign, we're members of sovereign nations, we don't have the same challenges that some of the rest of Americans have, which is true to a point. But most of us that live in that are tribal people that live on our reservations in our own homelands, we're citizens of our tribes, but we're also citizens of the state and also the nation in which we live in. So, I mean, we have, we have not just dual citizenship, we have like triple citizenship in some ways.
Yeah.
So part of it is like what she was saying in her thing was, though, is like, we're not as free as we think we are. We have, these fools in Washington making all kinds of decisions about what we can and can't do. We have a bunch of, we pay a bunch of taxes. We pay for a bunch of other things. We don't have as much freedom as we think we did,
Right.
And so to listen to these Republicans and these conservatives talk about like how we need more freedom, or we want freedom, well, we haven't had they haven't had freedom. They traded a king for a different kind of a king.
Yeah, exactly.
And in today's society, we're really talking about a very different sort of king for sure. But I think part of it is also like, well, you're 63, I'm 63. Seen a lot of things happen in the 63 years I've been alive. I've seen a pendulum swing, broadly, right? What I do know about Trump is that he is 80 years old. He's not going to live forever, and he's not going to be president forever. And but what I do hope and pray for is that I think I've told you this before. I say it jokingly, but there's some truth to how I feel about it. I don't pray for him to die because that would be not consistent with the way that I think of myself as an Indigenous person, right? So I don't pray for bad things to happen to him. But what I do say is when I pray to Creator, I say, Creator, you know what he needs and what he deserves. I just think you should give it to him. And do it as rapidly as you possibly can. Right? And so the decision isn't mine. I try to give it to somebody else. But the point being is that, I know that things are going to shift and change, and he won't be, and things will not be where they're at like this in 10 or 15 years. Will they be worse? I think a lot of that depends on how the American people, all of us individually and collectively, react, and how we do in turn, and how we show up as citizens. Are we voting? Are we pushing back on things? Are we are we living our values in everything that we do, and including our politics, right? And if I'd like to believe that this is a temporary situation.
Yeah, I agree.
And if not, I'm going to Canada. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, my wife's Italian, and I want her to get some real estate out there. So if we
Oh,
have
nice.
to,
Yeah,
we can
yeah, for
exit
sure.
and do the show from there. Indigenous Italians. Oh wow.
Oh,
Uh,
wow. Just make sure you get me a little room in your casa.
there you
Or,
go. Well,
yeah.
one of the things when I first sobered up 41 years ago was one of my prayers was because I was quite angry was I pray that everyone gets what they deserve, and so I guess
Mhm.
that kind of falls into what you were saying.
Well, I think, there's a few, like, he's not gonna live forever. He's gonna be remembered by many, certainly not all Americans, but by many of them. He'll be remembered for being, like, just the worst president ever with, like, at least. And you know what? There were plenty of other Democratic presidents that were not great people as well, right?
Mhm.
So that's not really even I guess, a partisan thing. You're either a, you're either a wonderful human being or you're not, right? And
Mhm.
he's demonstrated to a lot of people all over the world that he's not a very good human being. So I don't really care how he is as a president. I care that he's just not a really good human being. He's a horrible human being. But I know that his time will expire. Just like a bagel that you leave out too long. It'll expire and get thrown away, tossed to the
Wow.
side. I'm sure it will feed somebody. But the point being is that he won't be where he's at forever, just like we won't be where we're at forever. And things,
Mhm.
I have to believe that. I have to believe, and I do believe that things are going to shift and change, and that things, the world has a way of correcting. And I do know that, like, of course, I get concerned about things. I get concerned about things like, the situation in Venezuela was disturbing,
Mm.
disturbing. Like, this is imperialism.
Mhm.
This is a tremendous demonstration of imperialism, and the most contemporary sort of demonstration we can see in more modern times of what, like, just outright imperialism looks like. The idea that you can invade other countries and exert control over an entire hemisphere is what he's talking about now, right? And decide that, because you have lots of wealth and lots of power, you can just rule the lives of every human being in a specific area of the world.
Mm.
That is like that's a particular type of insanity, and also particular just type of uh, um, pure evil. I think like him and Putin are basically cut from the same cloth.
Well, like, Bob Blake from Red Lake was saying yesterday, Putin's happy because, we made
Hmm.
enemies with our neighbors of the South and in the North, and, he's doing
Yeah,
everything that Putin wanted. I just gotta say this before we end the segment, and I know you gotta get going, is that Nixon didn't end up in jail, but his attorney general sure did.
yep, yep, that's true, and it'll probably happen for this guy as well. So
Absolutely. Hey, Dr. Stately, thank you so much for coming on. Great to see you as
absolutely,
always,
take
and we'll
care.
be talking to you soon. Hoa.
You go out, man.
The Walker Art Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio, rooted in Lakota aesthetics of geometry, color, and pattern. Deani Whitehawk's abstractions are rich in meaning, honoring generations of Native artists. Explore her wide-ranging practice, including vivid beading paintings, sculptures, and video installations in Deani Whitehawk's love language. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. Plan your visit and get tickets at walkerart.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Oh, this is Robert Pilot. For Native relatives, healing is more than just sobriety. It's reclaiming indigenous masculinity as a sacred, balanced force. Join Hunter Thundercloud for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. We explore how personal recovery uplifts our communities. It's time men step back into roles as mentors and spiritual leaders. Recovery is collective, and it starts with us. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. Let's tend the fire together.
AM 950 would like to thank everyone who joined and donated during our winter membership drive. Your support shows that Minnesotans still value an independent progressive radio station that delivers facts, not spin. AM 950 is locally owned, based right here in the Twin Cities, and dedicated to uplifting small businesses and diverse communities. At a time when some voices are being pushed aside, AM 950 refuses to be silenced. Please help keep progressive radio on the air. Visit am950radio.com and donate today.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
In this portion of the show, we like to bring awareness to our wolf and bear populations throughout Turtle Island. Say no to the hunts.
No!
Oh.
Hey, Wendy, I want to introduce my awesome and beautiful wife, Wendy. Wendy's been an animal advocate for many years and co-founder of Native Roots Radio and pilots Progressive Party radio shows, and also has a great art business called Pilot's Palette, which is hard for me to say, but I did pretty good there. Hey, Wendy, I just want to bring this up before you talk about our sacred animals or sacred relatives.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this after Dr. Stately was on, and I remember years ago we used to do the show live at AM 950's studio.
I remember that.
And we said, wow, great show. This was cool. And then the producer, the board person said, you have one more segment to do.
Oh, that's
So
right.
was
I remember we were about to get up and leave, and they're
Right.
like, wait, the show's not over. And we're like, what?
Oh,
I
man.
remember that. That's
Usually
a fun memory.
Usually it's the opposite. It goes so fast.
Yeah, it does go so fast.
We did 3 segments and we dropped the mic when we were ready to go.
I know. So do I need to introduce myself, or everybody knows who I am already?
No,
right?
introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. My name is Hanaji Hihani. That means cares for them. And I was given that name by my Dega Curtis. Curtis goes by Mashke Hanajinga, which means walks on white clouds. I'm a policy volunteer for Humane World for Animals, and I work on animal issues at the local and state level. It's always my pleasure to do that.
Yeah.
I think I talked about this already on the radio, but sometimes I'll read an article and I'll be like, oh wow, that's really cool. But then I can't remember whether I talked about it or not. So anyway, this might be a repeat. I don't know. So anyway, this is from the Facebook page. It's called the Animal Rescue Site by Greater Good. They have a lot of good articles and stories about animals and what happens to them. So here it is. According to the BBC, the walrus was spotted late at night on the 30th in Scarborough, North Yorkshire in England. That walrus, which they named Thor, was spotted previously around the UK, and his unusual presence was drawn attention to the wildlife experts along with members of the public. So according to a news release from Scarborough, the city had planned a 6-minute firework display to start at midnight to ring in the new year. The location of the display was supposed to be right around where Thor was sighted. British Divers Marine Life Rescue released a statement on the walrus, noting that they immediately sectioned off the area where he slept before the public noticed his presence. And it was a good thing they did that, because thousands of people ended up crowding around just to see him. The rescue group wrote, quote, "At all times, the crowd was at least 350 people thick. And at one point, seemingly over 500 people were there, with more bodies continually appearing from all avenues, roads, and even bus trips. It is estimated several thousand people were in attendance over the whole day, though likely there were more. So all the meantime, Thor is like out on the water on a little thing that he's laying on.
I wanted to say this too. Say, what is Thor again?
He's a walrus.
Cuckoo, cuckoo. I wanted to say that real quick.
While Thor was sleeping, the rescue group noticed he was agitated by a few noisy vehicles passing with bright lights. Seeing how those few things irritated the walrus, the group began to worry about the New Year's Eve fireworks display that was scheduled to take place in close proximity to where Thor was lounging. In the statement, the rescue reported that they told the city council that the firework display could affect the walrus, and all council members, all of them, who without reservation agreed the firework display would likely cause stress and alarm to the walrus, and therefore they canceled it without hesitation. How is that?
Wait a minute.
That's awesome. Like, seriously. They saw this one animal, the walrus.
Cuckoo, cuckoo.
And they went to the city council, where they all agreed unanimously, no fireworks, because it would disturb Thor. How wonderful is that?
That's beautiful. And didn't we read something about, was it Japan that did fireworks without sound this year?
Okay.
Or called them off? Or
In Calicchia, Italy.
Yes.
Calicchia, Italy.
We're moving there, by the
That's
way.
a town in Italy. They have silent fireworks on the 4th of July and New Year's Eve. The reasons are because of their veterans,
Yes.
people,
Yes.
and animals. So for everybody. Yeah. They have.
Let me get this going.
Yeah, exactly.
So people are, we talked to Dr. Stately how the pendulum goes way to the left and way to the right, but also some things stick, and some things are sticking right now. All these years you've been doing these animal segments, there's, people are getting it.
Yeah, it's
in a lot of ways.
We find a lot of good news. There's still bad news out there, and I'll still report that just to bring awareness to certain situations. But honestly, things have been getting better, and I think we're coming to a more humane world. So hopefully that is. So I have another quick story, if you let me.
Yes.
So this is
please
about
do.
an eagle. So this is Gentle Bird Moments. I read from them the other day, but there was this injured bald eagle that appeared at a wildlife rescue center all on its own. So this eagle, I'm not going to read it was on October. This is an older story from October 14th, 2024. On the morning of October 14th, 2024, staff at the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center facility on the outskirts of British Columbia, Canada, encountered a sight few had ever witnessed before. A fully grown bald eagle was found standing quietly near the entrance of the center, close to the glass door, unmoving yet alert, as if waiting. Upon closer inspection, rescuers discovered that the eagle had been seriously injured by a hunting projectile believed to be a modified arrow or dart embedded deep in its back. Yeah. Despite the trauma and blood loss, the bird had managed to fly several kilometers through forested terrain and human settlements before arriving at the exact location where injured wildlife is treated.
Jeez.
Now, we wonder how these animals know this, right? According to veterinarians on site, the eagle showed no signs of panic or aggression. It did not attempt to flee. Instead, it remained still for hours, conserving energy, watching reflections in the glass until staff carefully approached it. So it was found on one of their cameras outside, and the eagle just stayed there for a long time. I guess the center was closed, but they could see the eagle in the glass window, and then finally got it. So the injury was severe but survivable. Emergency surgery was performed that same day, and the eagle was stabilized. Specialists later confirmed that without timely medical intervention, the bird would not have survived another night. What has unsettled many is not only the eagle's resilience, but its apparent decision. There are countless buildings, forests, and open fields in the area, yet the eagle chose this place. Biologists caution against attributing intention or mysticism, noting that injured animals may seek human structures instinctively. Still, even seasoned professionals admit this case is extraordinary. So this bird found the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center, where they must have had some knowledge of animals being treated there or helped, right?
Right.
But it's unexplained. So.
Wow. Hey, if you're listening to this, thank you, Big Peeny Gee, Wendy. If you're listening to this show, you are part of the resistance from Chief Plenty Coops, the ground on which we stand on. It's sacred ground. It's the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office. We're still here. We are the seventh generation. And remember, tomorrow, Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. We'll see you later. Oh, this is Robert Pilot.